Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Sociology Analytica. This is Pooja Prasanna, your sociology faculty. So let's start with today's question. So the question is, examine ethnomethodological and phenomenological perspective as a critique of positivism. Okay, they're asking you not to just simply explain ethnomethodology and phenomenology. They're asking you that explain how did they criticize positivism. So in the previous question, we actually discussed, right, that criticism of positivism. In that criticism, if you observed, we talked about how ethnomethodology criticized and phenomenology is criticized. But then I only told that just write one line, right? But then here the question is that how these two school of thought criticized positivism. It's a 15-marker question, so you have to write around 200 words. Okay, it's a 15-marker question, you have to write 200 words. So again, see, whenever the question comes that how someone criticized, directly don't start writing the criticism. What you have to do, you have to little bit explain about that particular topic and then explain how they have criticized. Okay, you all just please remember this particular aspect. Okay, so let's start with our introduction. See, in introduction, what you have to write is, as the question is that how these two school of thought has criticized, you can just you can just write certain words, or you can run on the word around from this particular question itself. What you can write is, ethnomethodology and phenomenology, they stemmed out as a critique of positivism, as a critique to positivism, as positivism emphasized on studying society using natural science, something like that. See, I did not make it very fancy because when you're in exam hall, you can't like think too much fancy words, you cannot like write too many things. What you can do is you can have a very simple statements, and trust me, simple statements to a greater extent works in UPSC. Many times it has worked, so I'm pretty sure it will work for you also. So what you can write is, ethnomethodology and phenomenology stemmed out as a critique to positivism, as positivism emphasized on studying sociology using natural science. Okay, this is your introduction. Then coming to the body part, directly don't start telling what is ethnomethodology or their criticism. What you can do is little bit talk about what positivism is. See, in order to understand why they are criticizing, you need to tell them first that what are they criticizing or why are they criticizing. Okay, so what you do is write or give a simple basic characteristic of what positivism is. Understand? See, in the previous question, so we discussed a lot of different characteristics, isn't it? And in fact, there are many more characteristics also. But what you have to do is choose specifically few characteristics which is going to help you in tackling how they criticized. Randomly also you can write, but what I say is, if you write those particular characteristics which these two school of thought criticize, then it will give you little bit more marks. Okay, so what I've taken is certain basic characteristic of positivism. I've taken just 3 character, that is sufficient. Don't write too much, just keep it 3 or 4, that is sufficient. Here I've taken over socialized passive man. Over socialized passive man. Why I have taken this? Because see, positivists in generally consider that man is overly socialized. Okay, overly socialized man. That means, so man doesn't have his independent existence. Okay, man doesn't have independent existence. Society will always control the man. Okay, society will always control man. What man has to do, what man has not to do, each and everything is controlled by the society. So thus, man becomes a passive man. You understand by passive man, right? So passive is nothing but that he doesn't have his own say. He simply blindly follows whatever the society tells him to do so. So this is one of the things what positivists believe in. Okay. The next thing what they believe is, that is, they use natural science. Okay, they use natural science. So in order to understand society, how they will be understanding society, how they will be experimenting, the same way how natural science does an experimentation. The third characteristic I've taken here is external reality. That is, you need to study external reality from objective person, that is objectively. How do you need to study? You need to study objectively. External reality, it also means what? You should not bother about the internal meanings attached to a particular social action. Whatever the meaning is, meanings and emotions, etc., etc., you should not take into consideration. Just take the external reality as consideration. How should you study? Objectively and not subjectively. So these are some of the basic characteristics of positivism. I'll tell you why did I specifically take these, because by using these characteristics, I'm going to show how did ethnomethodology and phenomenology criticized. Did you understand till now? Now let's go to the next part of the answer. The next part is, let's start with ethnomethodology. So what you need to do is, in this particular section, you have to write what is ethnomethodology. Okay, you need to write what is ethnomethodology and how did they criticize positivism. These are the two aspects what you have to cover now. So for the question what is ethnomethodology, what you can do is just take a simple definition of ethnomethodology, and I tell you that preferably give a definition which is given by a thinker. Okay, in this particular context, because see, you cannot put thinker anywhere here. Only place where you can put a thinker is in the definition part of whatever so and so. Okay, see, in every question, try to think where can you put the thinker. Wherever you can put the thinker, you just put the thinker. Fine. So what I've done is I've taken the definition given by Garfinkel about what? About ethnomethodology. So it's a simple definition. What is the definition? The definition says that ethnomethodology is a study of methods employed by the members of the society to construct and give meaning to their social world. What does that mean? It simply means that whatever the social world understanding is there, okay, however we need to live, what is right, what is wrong. So who is actually telling all those, who is actually making up those meanings? The meanings, everything is made up by the members. So members are trying to understand what society is, how society should be, okay, because without understanding the society, it is very difficult for you to even live. Okay, so this is what ethnomethodologists do. What ethnomethodology do? They try to understand what is society from the members' perspective, how members are living, how they are trying to understand, how they are going in their everyday life. Okay, now coming to how did they criticize? How did they criticize positivism? So here I have taken 2 points, 2 main points. One thing is, see, P is positivism, E is ethnomethodology. Fine. So positivists say, positivists what they do, that they do an objective understanding of what society ought to be. They do an objective understanding of what society ought to be. This is how society should be. Ought to be means what? This is how society should be. This is how you should do. Okay, this is how you should sit. If you're a student, this is how you should sit in class. This is how you should do in class. Okay, if you are a father, you should do this. If you're a mother, you should do this. Okay, so positivists always try to study what society ought to be from an objective perspective. But then ethnomethodology, what do they study? They try to understand what society is, however the society is, from the members' perspective. Positivists always study from the societal perspective, whereas ethnomethodologists always try to understand from the members' perspective. How do they study? From the subjective understanding. That is, they try to understand the meanings which are attached by the members about the society. Fine. Next criticism which is given by ethnomethodologists is that the positivists always try to understand what? External, they always focus on external social order. Okay, they always try to focus on what? External social order, and they believe that there is an external social order. That is, see, family, in order for a family to properly have a social order, there should be a, father is there, mother is there. Father should go and earn. Okay, father should go and earn, and mother should nurture the baby. Okay, mother should actually nurture the baby. So this is the social order. So suppose, let's say that mother will say, no, I will go out. You take care of the baby. What will happen? There will be a problem to the social order. Okay, so what positivists believe, that society always tell what should be the social order, and members will simply follow that social order. So this is what positivists believe. Okay, and they say that how will the members know? Members will be knowing through socialization and social control. Through socialization and social control, members will know what to do and what not to do, what is the order or what is not the order. Okay, but then ethnomethodologists, what they say? They say that there is nothing like social order. Okay, there is nothing like social order, and for every person, for every member or every different social institution, the social order may actually keeps changing. What is social order to you may not be social order to me only. For example, let's say there is family 1 and family 2. Okay, so for family 1, mother might be the nurturer. Okay, she may take care of the baby. Okay, she might rear the baby, she may take care of the baby. But in family 2, this particular role might be done by a father. Okay, maybe. Okay, see, for them, what ethnomethodology says that this is social order for this family, and for this family, this is a social order. So they actually use one word. What is that word they use? That it's a fictional social order. That is, for everyone there is a different social order. There is no single social order. Did you understand? So these are main two aspects which was criticized by whom? Which was criticized by ethnomethodology. See, whenever you are writing criticism, make sure that you write what did positivists say and how did ethnomethodologists criticize. So please take this format. Okay, now let's go to the next part of this question, that is, how did phenomenologists criticize. Let's have the same format. First define what is phenomenology, and then go how did they criticize positivism. Okay, so the first and foremost is definition. Just write Alfred Schutz. I have taken Alfred Schutz's definition. Just write a simple definition. What is it? Phenomenology is a study of phenomena in the society. Simple. Keep it simple. That is sufficient. Now, you can start with the criticism part. You can say, see, in fact, phenomenology is the first radical departure. That is completely, others still, continued having certain characteristic of positivism, but then phenomenology is the first school of thought who had a complete radical departure. That is, they did not believe in any of the characteristic of positivism. You can write that as a point. Okay, then now let's go to the criticism. How did they criticize? First criticism I have taken here is, see, PO is positivism, PH is phenomenology. Positivists use natural science. For we actually discussed about this. Positivists always use natural science, but then phenomenologists say that, see, meanings don't have independent existence. Meanings, there is no external reality. Positivists believe that there is an external reality, and external reality is same for everyone. It is same for you, it is same for me, as it is same for everyone. For everyone, we can have a generalized understanding, and we can use natural science. But then phenomenologists say that no, meanings do not, it's not same for everyone. Okay, meanings keeps changing as a context change, as a social institution change, as a reality change. So we cannot possibly use natural science in order to understand the society. This is the first criticism. The second criticism is positivists always use cause and effect. Okay, that is, for every effect there will be a cause. Okay, we need to identify what the cause is. If we identify what the cause is, we can understand why certain actions have taken place. Okay, so this is how they study. But then phenomenologists say you cannot have a cause and effect. Why? Because, see, in order to have a cause and effect, they believe in one single external reality. Okay, one single external reality. But then here, what phenomenologists say, meanings keeps changing. Okay, what is meaning? What is cause for you? Okay, suppose let's say that you have failed. Okay, person 1 has failed in UPSC exam. Why did he fail? He failed because some financial problem. He failed. Person 2 has failed because personal problem. Person 3 has failed because he couldn't, concentrate, some concentration problem. See, everybody has failed. Okay, if it is positivism, they would club and give one effect, one cause and one effect. But then phenomenologists say, no, you cannot give one cause, one effect, because everybody is having different reasons. So what they say is that it is very difficult to use a cause and effect phenomena. It is not possible. You cannot study society through cause and effect. Okay, did you understand this? Now moving further to the next point, that is, see, positivist study from objective understanding of objective reality. Objective reality means what? One single reality, one single external reality. Okay, objective understanding means do not consider no internal meaning. Okay, So they consider that the whole reality, whatever the reality is there, it is objective, it is similar for everyone. So we can have a objective understanding. But then phenomenologists say, no, society itself is not subjective. What is society to you? What is meaning to you may not be meaning for me. So there is a subjective reality. How should we study? Through subjective understanding, by interpretation, by understanding internal meaning, we need to understand the reality. Okay, did you understand this? And then finally, the last point is positivist had a generalization and formulation. That is, so for every phenomena you can have a generalized theory, one formula you can use, but then phenomenologists say it's not possible because subjective understanding, everybody has their own meaning. So for everybody you need to give a theory. You cannot have one grand theory. So these are certain aspects which was criticized by whom? Criticized by phenomenologists. So after writing all these things, finally we'll go to the conclusion part. Finally coming to the conclusion. Keep the conclusion very simple. So what I've given a very simple conclusion. You can write on something very similar. So what I said is, though they, who are they? They here is ethnomethodology and phenomenologists. Though they professed pure subjectivity, but both the school of thought didn't deliver any concrete concept like positivism. They was criticized for being nothing more than a CS here is common sense. Okay, see, I'm not saying you should be on a same way you should write. No, just write however you feel like, but it should be like a concluding part. Okay, so though they professed pure subjectivity, but both the school of thought didn't deliver any concrete concepts like positivism. They were just criticized merely like nothing but a common sense. Okay, did you understand? So it's a bit bigger question, so you need to know the concepts very clearly in order to understand what did positivists say and how did they actually, how these two school of thought has criticized positivists. Okay, I hope you have understood. I hope you have understood this question well. In case if you have any query, please drop your queries in the comment section. Okay, thank you all.